Welcome to the All Things Performance Podcast. I'm with my guest today, special guest. This is the first NFL football player that we've had on here.
Appreciate you having me.
JoeJuan Williams, man. JoeJuan, how we living, man?
I'm doing good. I'm
You all
doing
right?
good, man. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah,
for sure.
man.
Definitely.
Man, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this podcast for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's like God had a sense of humor because I love football coming up, but I worked in baseball for over a decade. And I am really interested to hear about the mental game and how you go about business and your penchant and your love for just taking care of your body and then strengthening your mind, man. And so, you know, when you look at it, the percentage of people who make it to the NFL is few and far between.
Yep.
In order for you to do something great, you have to overcome something great. So I just want you to talk to us real quick about your upbringing, man, like home life, coming up, and what positioned you to be where you are now.
Oh, for me, man, I came up, it was me, my mom, my brother. My granny and my uncle was a great crutch for us. But we lived in the projects in Nashville my whole life. And I feel like that was the thing that shaped and molded me into the person I am today. Just watching my mom take care of two kids on her own, and the struggles that she went through and overcame, it just made me, it made my perseverance, for me, that's a superpower. I feel like I can go through anything I go through, I can overcome it. Anything that happens to me in life, I can overcome it because I know where I came from.
Yeah.
And I know the position I was in before, and I know what I was the things that I was telling myself that I was gonna do, and I made it happen today. And it just gave me the confidence in the world that I can do anything that I want mentally. But watching my mom take care of two boys on her own, really, man, that was something special. She's my superwoman to this day.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it, man. And thank God for moms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Thank God for moms.
Definitely.
You know, it's crazy because before we would draft players, when I used to work for Texas, the Rangers, before we would draft players, we would sit down and I would interview them. And one of the questions that I would always ask players is, how competitive are you? And everybody and their mom, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm super competitive. Oh, yeah. But it's different for every person. And everybody says they're competitive, but there's levels to this. And so we're going to get into your career, your NFL career here in a second. But before we set the tone, or before we go in, I want to set the tone in terms of your competitiveness. How are you different, right? I know you talked about moms. That's your superhero. But how are you different when it comes to being able to compete and stay on top, man?
My biggest thing, man, it started for me as a kid. Just my ambition, I feel like to me, in my perspective, I feel like it's the best in the world. Just my ambition, my goals on my own. Growing up, I had an older brother, 4 years older than me, and man, I would go at him in any and everything. Madden, 2K, basketball, football. I mean, any sport you can imagine, I'm going at him, talking trash, racing. Even if I lose, I would get extremely mad back in the day. I was definitely a sore loser back in the day. But the biggest thing for me was I just love winning. I love the competition of winning, whether that's in any form or fashion.
Yeah.
I just wanted to win. And even growing up, man, I would vividly remember, man, I'll see coaches, you know, middle school, youth football rave about certain guys, and they'll be like, oh, this guy's going to the NFL. And then the whole time in my head, I'm like, no, that's me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what you say, it's me.
Yeah.
And I believed in my goal, I believed in my ambition so much, and I believed in my vision. It just manifested to here today.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. Man, so check this out. You know, you said you come from, tough upbringing, tough times. You had to overcome a lot, right? But then all of a sudden, fast forward, you find yourself in Vanderbilt, right? So for those people listening today, Vanderbilt is like, low-key Ivy League school type education.
Ivy League of the South.
Bruh, talk to us about Vanderbilt, man. Educational, just the demands as a young athlete.
It was definitely intense when it comes to balancing out both the academics and the sports part of it, because at Vandy they don't treat don't treat athletes like like they're a specialty. You don't get to pick out the classes. You don't have any online classes.
All electives.
Yeah, you don't get the tutoring and all that. Like you feel me? Like you really got to be locked in.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a challenge. And one of my biggest things, again, I love to challenge myself in every single thing that I do. And I made the decision to go to Vandy, so I accepted everything that comes with it. And once I got there, even in school, I'll see these people who, man, they'll talk about their ACTs. I made a 21 on the ACT.
Yeah.
I took it once, and I was like, I'll never take it again.
Yeah.
But these people, to get in, they made 36s and had the highest SAT scores and all this extra stuff. And I was like, man, I'm gonna have to, you feel me? I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna make sure that I'm not slacking off, and I'll make sure that I still have great grades, because I don't want any of these people to ever look down on me like, oh, they better than me in something. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the best in this class and whatever I got to do in my assignments, and I'm gonna be the best on the field. And that was just my mindset.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I left out of there overall. I think I left out of there with a 3.2 GPA.
Look at him. That's good, man.
And was able to go back and graduate. I really should have graduated in 3. I only had like a couple classes left.
Yeah.
But went back after my rookie year after I declared early. Came back, and man, it was a blessing though to walk across that stage, see my family, everybody watching me walk across the stage. Man, it was
That's
such
dope.
a blessing for sure.
I love it, man. I love that, man. It's like one of the things I believe is that your education, it doesn't matter if you go to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you go to Yale.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Phoenix College, right? Like the greatest investment that you make is in yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And you are the one who makes the education, right? It's not, or you're the one who adds value to your degree. It's not the other way around. Like a degree gives us value in the marketplace.
Yeah.
You know, but we're the one who has to continue to, add that value to what we went to school for. And I love that. I love that, man.
I truly feel like, man, like it really doesn't matter where you go. It's how you apply that.
Yes.
It's how you apply that. Again, it's that investment in yourself.
Yes.
How you going to apply the education that you've been taught, and how much are you going to put into yourself and bet on yourself and learn and grow in whatever field you want to be in.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's really the biggest thing, man. It doesn't matter if you go to a top school or don't go to school at all. Mm-hmm. Man, it's really about what education are you putting in, what investment are you putting into to gaining knowledge in whatever field you want to be in.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. So Vanderbilt, fast forward, you're a second-round draft pick number 45 to be exact, by the New England Patriots. I gotta just get this out there. You know what I'm saying? You don't know this yet, but I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And y'all did us dirty for many years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I just had to get that off my chest right now. You know what I'm saying? But man, what a great time in your life, a moment in your life to get drafted. I want you to talk about how that felt, and then also talk to us about the making of JoeJuan Williams, man. Those formidable years, those first, because after 3, right, Cats is out the league. You know what I mean? So talk to us about, making it and then having to go into one of the most intense environments in the NFL with Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots.
Yeah. I mean, I always had a goal. For me, I always had a goal to leave college after 3. I told my coach when I was a freshman coming in, like, hey, the plan is to leave after 3. And he always remembered that. That was always on my mind too. And I made it happen. And, it was a blessing. It was really a blessing to walk across that stage because that was the first year that the draft started to move to different cities. And it was in Nashville that year.
All right.
And so I got to walk across the stage in my hometown to hundreds of thousands of fans filled up Broadway. And, man, it was a blessing. That was a night to remember. And my family was there, friends, everybody was there. You feel me? And it was just such a special moment. I'll never forget that. To go to New England, man, that was the biggest blessing, really, because again, in my heart and my mentality, I want to be, you feel me, around the best. Because that's you only gonna become what's around you. And so learning from my first year, having Tom Brady, having Bill Belichick, and having the guidance, like I had I mean, at my position, Stephon Gilmore,
Yeah.
his 2019,
Yeah.
he was the first corner in like 20 years to win Defensive Player of the Year. You got Stephon Gilmore, you got the McCourty twins.
Yes.
Some of the smartest DBs that I've ever been around. Jonathan Jones, J.C. Jackson.
Yes.
And you just had those guys that I was surrounded with coming in as a rookie and being able to watch all of them guys and how they operate, how they play, not only on the field but off the field, how they move. Man, it was such a blessing because each year I was able to take bits and pieces and add that to my game and really, again, invest in myself. I had to learn how to be a pro.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's one thing, I think that's kind of one of the biggest things that guys coming in early have to really do is learn how to be a pro. Because it's a different game than the college game. It's a different game than high school, college, whatever you did back then can't equate to now. You have to continue to invest in yourself and add new things, whether that's from your recovery, whether that's from your study habits, whether that's from strength-wise, you really get locked in even more because now you're at the top of the top, you're at the pinnacle.
Yeah.
And so you have to really learn how to be a professional at this. And so I had man, my coaches, from my coaching staff to the players around me, to, I mean, even the fan base was intense. And that all molded me into the person I am today and helped me continue to grow. And now I really feel like each year I'm still growing. I take that as you feel me? Each year you're gonna learn something new and add it to the game.
Yeah.
Overall, my whole tenure in New England though, it was a blessing. Like, I learned so much, and now I'm in Minnesota where we got a younger group of DBs, but at the same time, I'm able just by my actions alone help lead some of these younger guys.
Yeah.
Going on, and I mean even and that's even speaking. I'm 25.
Yeah.
And that's still young to be in the league. I
Yeah,
came in at 2021, and so I'm 25, still young in the league, but I've learned so much over my 4 years very early in New England, and I'm very blessed for that because I truly feel like I got a lot more football to play, and so it was a blessing, man. It really was.
That's great, man. That's great. So real quick, before we go, because I play DB too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, just a little small college ball. You know
You're
what I'm
still
saying?
strapping though, huh?
Hey,
You're strapping.
Yeah, oh, you already know. You have to be, bro. You have to
God.
be. Hey, so check this out. For the people listening, this is for the people. We're just going to end it right here. What is the most difficult position to play athletically in the NFL? Please, Joejuan.
Corner.
Thank you.
Number one, 100%. You got to look at, if you look at it, man, you can strap up somebody 61 plays out of 62. You give up that one play and it's all on you in this game's over with.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to remember those 61 plays where you're strapping. They're going to remember that one. They're going to remember that one touchdown. They're going to remember that one play you gave up.
Yeah.
You feel me? And so you have to really be on it, and you have to really react against guys in this league that are extremely fast and they know what they're running.
Yeah.
You have to be there. You have to really sit there and react. Go backwards.
Thank you.
You have to run backwards before you even come forward.
Talk to him.
You gotta really, like, you feel me? Like,
Talk to him.
Like, you feel me, man? And so it's really like, bro, you have to be on it, and you have to have a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
You gotta, at DB, you gotta have a whole different mindset. Because if I give up a catch, you can't be thinking like you gotta let that shit go.
Yeah.
Like you just got to.
Yeah.
You gotta have a short-term memory when it comes to that, and you have to have such a competitiveness, such a drive of, man, no matter what, I know I got it next time.
Yeah.
I know I got it next time. And I feel like my upbringing just even molded my mindset into that, where it's like, man, if I give up something, okay, it's not fazing me.
Yeah.
I got it again. You feel me? I can overcome anything. Man, and that's where really being a DB, you gotta have just a whole different, you gotta be wired differently.
Yeah.
You gotta be built differently. Like, I think that's definitely the hardest position to play.
Thank you. I think we just settled it. Drop the mic on them. Drop the mic on them. We just settled it. You know what I'm saying? So real quick, while we're talking about it, top 3 toughest receivers that you've gone against.
Man, I'll take it back to college on one of them. Calvin Ridley. Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Especially at Bama.
Yeah.
Like, Buddy's nice. Looking forward to see how he moves. He's in Jacksonville now.
Yeah.
He just came off that. Just came off that little suspension, but looking forward to see how he moves. Julian Edelman in the
Really?
slot, nice.
You saw that
Going
up
again,
close,
yeah,
though.
up close.
You saw that
going
up close.
in practice, man. Before he really got injured in 2020,
Yeah.
So I've really got to see 1 year. But of course, you're over there, so you see highlights, you see game film
Yeah.
of the years before. But man, Buddy was nice. And when him and Tom was locked in together, I mean, you go look at the 2019 Super Bowl.
Dog,
He was the MVP for a reason.
Yeah.
Like Buddy was splitting zones. He was making moves, getting open.
Yeah.
They just had that chemistry, and so Jules was definitely great to go up against in practice as a young rookie, man. Just trying to get my feet wet. And we went at it a couple times, man.
Yeah.
I still got film of it to this day, and so it's cool to look at. But yeah, Jules definitely.
So Calvin Ridley, Julian Edelman.
I'll go with top 3. Let me see. Man, Diggs. I mean, Diggs at the Bills, when he got to the Bills, so we saw him multiple times. I mean, Diggs is
man.
He's one of the top receivers in the league for a reason.
Yeah.
And so it's always a battle. It's always a battle once you go against him. You always got to be his technique, and his movements is so nice. You got to really be locked in.
Yeah.
You got to really trust your own technique. And I think that's the biggest thing too. Mentally, you're going against these top name guys. Like you really just got to trust your own technique.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to really say, you know what? Forget whoever's in front of me. No disrespect.
Yeah.
Like forget whoever's in front of me. You feel me? And I'm gonna trust my own technique and I trust my own self to go out there and make this play.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because I do feel like at certain times, man, guys can get in their own head just because of the person they're going against.
No
just
doubt.
because they see them in the media, they see this and that, and then they lose trust in their own technique, and then it doesn't look right or it doesn't feel right on the field.
Yeah.
You got to be so locked into you. And it's really just a battle of you versus you.
Oh man, yes.
It's really just you versus you. Like on that field, it's me versus me. I know that when I play great, it's because I'm locked into myself.
Yeah.
I know that whenever mistakes are made, it's because of myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because of anything that happens outside. Like I take responsibility for everything.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the biggest things too, going against these guys, man, is you got to really lock into yourself first.
No, I love that. You know, Mike Tomlin calls it nameless gray faces.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, we going in on Sunday, Thursday night, whatever the case may be, Monday night, nameless gray faces.
Yep.
What have you done to prepare? What have you done to add value to the team? You know, you said something earlier that I want to go back to, and you were talking about being a pro. Mm-hmm. And going in there, right, and taking notes from these greats. And I think a lot of athletes who are listening to this today need to hear this, because one of the best things that you can do when you go into a new situation with high-level performers, right, is to do this, to open these up, right, and to open these up.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of young players who have, you know, in one way, shape, or form, thought that they figured it out. And the game humbled them very quickly.
Yeah.
And so I want you to talk to us about the importance of being humble, asking questions, like getting the notes from these guys that have been there, and how you went about it and how you're still doing that today. Because professional development, you said it, man. I don't know if you realize that you said it, but like continuing to learn to this day.
To this day.
Like, how did you go about that? And just talk to us about how you were able to incorporate, because that's what Kobe did. Kobe did the same thing that you're talking about. Kobe did that same thing. LeBron did the same thing.
Yeah. And
you're doing it. I really want you to sit on that for a second.
I think, I mean, as a young guy, I came in again, 21 years old, like, and I was young and kind of sat back and really was like really quiet, really watching these guys work. And again, at first, it was like I was sitting back, and again, that ambition was just starting to swell up in me again. That fire in me was starting to swell up again of like, man, I want to be this. Like, I want to be top dog. Like, and I had to start really learning and applying the things that I've been learning. Like, it's one to sit there and just listen to stuff, and then like here are the vets say different things. Oh, take care of your body, do this, do that, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I got it. And if you don't apply it, it's never gonna work. I think the biggest thing is really learning that, keeping your ears open, keeping your eyes open, asking questions, but really applying it to your game and then figuring out really what works best for you. And that's gonna lead you, that experimentation of applying it and what works best for me, that's just gonna grow your skill base, you feel me, each year. And that's how you really truly become a professional. And understanding that, really, you talk about humbling, it's really understanding that, man, like, there's always something new to learn each year.
Yeah.
Even the older vets, 10 plus years, they still learn new things after each year. They're still asking questions. They're still asking about different techniques. You're still learning from people I'm picking up things from old guys. I'm picking up things from young guys that's in the league now. You feel me? And because the league is continuing to advance and evolve every single year, you feel me? You have to continue to advance and evolve. You can't stay still. So you got to continue to learn, man. You got to continue to apply everything that you're doing and figure out what works best for you.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love that. I hope people are listening to that because it doesn't stop. It only gets more sophisticated. And speaking of which, you know, the modern day athlete, right? We have a lot of distractions. When you came into the league, you probably had your own distractions and things that jacked you up and you know, things that kind of threw you off. Talk to us about, you know, just trying to, let me say it like this. As a professional athlete, we are continually in a glass bowl. People are watching us, especially now with social media and everything that you know, this world has to offer by way of like keeping up with the Joneses and seeing what everybody else is doing. Talk to us about, you know, what that was like for you, if you even struggle with that, like, you know, being in the public eye, criticism, media, these cats is killing me on Twitter right now.
I think that's one of the biggest things, especially now that guys have to really continue to work on. That's a continuous process.
Yeah.
Of really mentally understanding that, man, nobody's opinion except yours matter. Nobody's opinions. And going to Vandy, small town school, man, and you feel me, like there's not really no national media coverage for Vanderbilt football. And so you never really got the fans and all that stuff saying crazy stuff to you after games and all that good stuff. Going to the Patriots though, and we just got off of 6 straight Super Bowls. And it's Boston, which is a sports town. Like they are diehard sports fans.
Yeah.
I had to really learn because when I first came into the game, I wanted to make everybody proud. I wanted to make everybody happy. Like I wanted to make coaches, I wanted to make the fans, I wanted people to say great things about me and stuff like that. And I came to learn really quickly that I can't worry about what anybody thinks, good or bad. You can't, like, I don't read into the media anymore, whether they say good things, whether they say bad things. I don't take any of it.
So how do you block it? Like, how do you block it?
You continue to just understand that for me, I continue to understand that my opinion is what matters the most. You feel me? And then from there, you continue to work with your coaches, work with the guys that you truly trust in your team. But you block it out by you don't read it. Like even going to Minnesota and things I'm doing in Minnesota now, I'll have friends and family send me articles of what they're saying. I'm like, oh, just saying you're doing a great job over there and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, I appreciate you sending me this, man, but don't send me this no more. Like, because again, even the good, if you start to believe what people say with the good, you're gonna have to believe what they say with the bad if you bind into that. You feel me?
Yes.
And so like I'm just like, hey, look, I appreciate it, but please don't send me this. Like I don't look at any of the news. I don't look at news. I don't look at even normal news. Like, but
that's the worst, by the way.
Yeah, like if you look at it, it's all negative. Like it's just I'm not trying to fill myself up with that. I keep myself, I stay in my own good energy bubble, and I keep my good energy around, and I only listen to the people that I deem worthy of listening to. Like, again, asking questions we talked about earlier, asking questions, talking to veterans. I talk to Steph and Jason McCourty and Devin McCourty all the time. Like, those are my dogs. I love when they hit me up. I love them when we start to catch up again and talk. Like, I'll take little bits of them. I ask Steph questions all the time. Like, what does he eat? What does he do? Like, in different situations, how does he watch film? But those are the opinions that matter to me. Like, those are the opinions that matter to me. Hey, how did I look at this? Yeah. You feel me? What did you see right here? And I mean, and then asking my coaches, hey, what did you see right here? How does this look? How does my technique look? And trusting my coaches, trusting the team around me. And those are the only outside of that, no other opinion matters. Man, I don't care about the analysts that never played football before. Yeah. I don't care about, you feel me? Like, but that's real. Like, it's real, man. Like, I don't care about the analysts who never played football before. I don't care about the stats and all that little deep analytic stuff. Like, you feel me? I care about my team, my bubble that I truly trust and that I deem worthy. And that's it. Yeah. Like, and you keep that. You keep that energy, man, because if you start believing everything else what everybody's saying, it gets wild. Like, and then there's gonna be good and there's gonna be bad, and then you're gonna start believing in that. Like, you feel me? And fans are gonna say whatever. Yeah. There's gonna be couch coaches that hit you. You can have the best game in the world. Man, people talk about Tom Brady every week. Like, you feel me? Tom Brady is the best player in the NFL. Like, hands down. Like, best player in NFL's history. And they still talk trash about him every week.
They still hate out there.
Every week. Whether he had a great game, bad game, there were people you could find good. Yeah. And then you can find negatives. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, once you see that they talk about Jordan the same way, they talk about LeBron the same way, once you see that they talk negative about even the greats, you come to realize that these people's opinions don't matter.
I love it, man. I love it,
like, man. I don't know if we can cuss, but like, even like Jay-Z's song, "What You Eat Don't Make Me Shit." Like, that's real. You feel me? Like, I think that's really real. Like, your opinion doesn't help me at all, whether that's good or bad. Yeah. And so I keep it really tight knit circle, man. And I just really trust in my team that helps me and continue to build me up into the best player that I can be.
I love it, man. You're hitting on so many things that are mentally sound things. A lot of things that I teach, when I teach about focus, because focus is one of the most overused terms in sports. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, you guys got to focus out there. You know what I'm saying? Got to lock in. And when I teach focus, I say that you have to do three things. You need to identify the immediate mission. You got to kill the noise, and you have to execute the mission. If you can do those three things, you'll be able to lock in on anything. Yeah. And one of the things that you hit on, I call it channels of communication. And you said it. When I work with athletes, I tell them, I say, listen, the only three things that you should be listening to during the course of a game, during the course of a competition, is communication between you and your coaching staff. Yep. Communication between you and your teammates. Yep. Hey man, what you see out there on that last one? Hey, did he, how's his brakes? Like, how's he coming out of that? You know what I'm saying? Out of that route. Communication between you and your teammates, and positive self-talk. Yep. That's it.
Positive self-talk.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't hear the crowd. I don't care about this referee who's having a bad day. These people don't matter over here. This team surely don't matter. Like, those are the only channels of communication that should be open. And what happens is a lot of athletes, they have all the things open. Yeah. They're listening to 15, 20, 30 channels. They got 30 channels on. They got the iPad on.
Too much.
It's too much. It's too much. And what you just said is really like, the heart and soul of what it means to focus. And I put you on the spot because I was like, man, how do you do it? How do you block it out? And for those listening, man, I hope that people were paying attention, because this is how you do it. You have to have selective attention, because whatever you feed is going to grow. Yep. If you let people keep on feeding you the good, you're going to be, like you said, you're going to take the bad. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they don't have their best interest in mind, your best interest in mind. Yep. They have theirs. Yeah. Because I used to, Joejuan, we used to work with Joejuan. Oh, I sent that Joejuan that article, I gave him some, you know what I'm saying? Yep. And so I love that, man. I wanted you to talk to us because as an athlete, especially as a professional athlete, there's highs and then there's lows. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know how to regulate, those highs can be fleeting, but those lows can be lasting. And I want you to talk about, you don't have to go into any detail, but just talk about some of the lowest lows that you've had as a professional athlete in the NFL,
Yeah.
and how you overcame that.
I think that one of the biggest things that I learned, because my motivation going into the league, like from when I said I was going to be in the league at age 5 to all the way getting to the league at 20, I always told my mom, like, hey, I'm gonna make sure this is for us. Like, I'm taking care of you. I'm gonna make sure this money, like, that was my motivational factor. Like, hey, I'm gonna get you out this hood. Like, I'm gonna make sure we taken care of, get you a house, get you in a better place. And I thought that, you feel me, once I got there, that everything, all the trauma from the past, all of that stuff that I just swept under the rug, all the emotions that I held in that I never let out, of any of the traumas that I saw as a kid, I didn't think twice about it growing up, because again, I masked it with that motivation of, when I get this money, it's gonna be all great. Everything's gonna be great. I got to the league, man, and I realized, man, I take care of my whole family. Put them in a better situation. But all of that was still there. All the emotions, all the trauma that you sweep under the rug was there. And it really started to boil up by my second year, once I realized, like, money doesn't fix it. And I was stuck on, again, making people happy. I wanted to make people happy. I wanted to make the fans happy and all of this. And I had my own growing to do as a young man. Like, I'm 21 years old. Like, this is my first time on my own now, really, because I was stayed home at Vanderbilt, stayed in Nashville my whole life. Now I'm up in Boston by myself. You feel me? And I have to really learn and grow as a man. And so mentally, I went through it by my second year. Dealt with a lot, like, heavy anxiety and depression. And I think that was the biggest hurdle that I worked on. But I think that those lowest moments, really, you can get lost in that. You feel me? But the best thing about those lows is that's really an opportunity. God really setting you up. That's a trampoline, a slingshot to be completely better, to be who you really wanted to be. And, you know, and I took advantage of that. You really started working on my mental, really working with a mental coach, started to meditate, started to learn about just different mental techniques that I can do. And I really applied it to my game. And after a while, again, it was a battle. Like, you had to dealing with anxiety. I wish that on nobody. Like, I mean, the constant intrusive negative thoughts, you feel me? But then I just took it one step at a time. Like, I started attacking every negative thought with a positive one. Yeah. Every single thought I had, like, I attacked it with a positive one. I was like, nah, fuck that. Like, this is me.
Speaking the opposite.
Yeah, speaking the complete opposite. And then after a while, it got better and better and better. Until now, my mind is just flooded with positive thoughts. Yeah. It's flooded with just positiveness, because that's who I am now. Yeah. And so it's flooded with optimism, because that's who I am. Yeah. And that's what I put in there, and that's what I continue to program my brain with. You feel me? And I had to really put in that work for it, though. Yeah. But now that I've gone through that and I look back on it, that was 2 years ago, man, that was what I needed. Yeah. Because I got to a point now.
What was what you needed? What exactly?
The mental growth, the mental toughness. That was what I need. I needed to be able to get rid of trying to please everybody. Yeah. You feel me? I needed to truly learn now with the things I've learned and my program and my brain, man. Like, I feel like I can take on anything. Yeah. And it was all because I went through that. You feel me? And that was such a blessing in the skies. You feel me? And so I had to go. It was dark. It was definitely a dark time. But at the end of the day, once you get through it and you flip your whole perspective, because I truly feel like life is perspective. Whatever you assume is true, to be real. And once I really flipped my assumptions, everything just went 180. And man, it's been the best feeling ever since. And that's one thing that every time I talk to young kids that ask me about the game and stuff like that, I preach to, is really make sure you take care of your mental. Yeah. Like, make sure you take care of your mental first. because especially once you get to the pinnacle of the league, everybody's the biggest, strongest, fastest.
Yeah.
It's really who separates each other is their mental game. What's your mental game? What are you telling yourself? What's your mental talk looking like? You feel me? And how much do you really believe in yourself? Like, and how much do you really think that you can make this happen?
Yeah.
Because you got to think it, you got to really be it before you see it out there. You feel me? You got to really
100%.
be it inside before you see it outside. You feel me? And I think that that's one of the biggest things that I'm thankful for, man. When I look back on my time being a young guy in New England, man, I got really put in situations where they challenged me to grow so much. Mm-hmm. And that's why I always look back whenever anybody asks me about, oh, how was New England? How's Bill Belichick? How's being over there? I heard it was this, I heard it was that. Man, no, I loved it because it really put me in a challenge, and I grew so much from it that I know that I can apply this to all facets of my life. Mm-hmm. And then also I know that I can give back to kids that's growing up in the same position I am, that think that they're thinking that you feel me, can't make it out of any situation. Mm-hmm. Nah, you can. It's just your perspective.
Yeah.
You feel me? And so once you really flip your perspective, man, you realize that like that's all life is just perspective.
Yeah.
And once you gain that mental strength and that mental toughness, you know that you can take on any challenge that the world presents you with. You feel me? Because I truly feel like God made us so strong, bro. Like just infinite. And so I really think that, again, overall, that time was a blessing, man.
I love it, man. You hit on so many things, man. You hit on so many things. You know, the human brain does two primary things. It wants to be able to protect you,
yep,
right, from hurt, harm, and danger. So if I have a 98-mile-an-hour fastball coming at my head,
yep,
the first thing my brain says is, get out the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it also wants to protect you from guilt, embarrassment, shame,
yep,
right? And all the feelings that we feel when we let people down, right? So it wants to protect, and the next thing it wants to do is it wants to predict. The brain loves to predict what's going to happen next. What if I do this? What if I say this? If I do this, what are they going to think?
Yeah.
Right? And what happens is, you know, as an athlete, what you have to do is you have to actually fight against that.
Yeah. Gotta turn that off.
Because we're not. Look, when you look at athletes are not normal, especially professional athletes. When I say that, I say that with the highest esteem of the word. They're not normal in that. Going, you know, double, triple overtime, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not normal. Yeah. Like lifting weights in the off season in 100-some degree weather and playing in the snow and hitting dudes that's, you know, 250 pounds coming through. Like that's not normal. You know what I'm saying? But people pay millions of dollars every year to watch athletes do their thing. And one of the things that you said, man, that I think is very powerful is it's all about perspective.
Yep.
Two individuals can look at the same situation, and one person can say, man, this is trash. The other person can look at it and say, you know what, man, this is an opportunity.
Yep.
Your perspective is so huge. Whatever you feed will grow. Yep. And if you feed negative will eventually grow and take over you.
Yep.
And just like you said, man, I really appreciate the fact that you went through it. Yep. To sit here today and to talk about it. When you look at mental toughness, you talked about mental toughness, man. I want to hit this real quick. When you look at mental toughness from the science, there are 4 different things that make up mental toughness. When you look at the literature, right, the scientific literature, and I want you to, like, as an NFL football player. I
appreciate you giving me these nuggets because I sure was about to ask you some questions.
Oh,
man,
no,
but
you can. Hey, ask away. But I'm gonna say this before I forget. But ask away, please. So when you look at mental toughness, right? There's 4 main areas, and I want you as an NFL football player now, right? Looking back, I want you to grade yourself, and maybe even grade like people in general as far as how they handle it. So the first one is what we call them the 4 C's. The first one is commitment. People who are mentally tough have this dogged, resilient, never let go attitude, and they are committed. They say, you know what? If it takes 10 years, I'm gonna be there at year 10.
Yeah.
If it takes 2 hours, I'm going to be there, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be there until the 2-hour mark.
Sure.
How would you grade yourself on commitment?
No, that's me. Like, I mean, everything that I do, I make sure that I do for my goals, my ambitions. I'm doing everything that I feel like I need to do.
Yeah.
Every single day I make it a priority to make sure I'm working out, to make sure I'm stretching, rolling out, getting my recovery in. I'm making sure to watch film. I'm making sure to do everything to take care of my body, take care of my mind, take care of my soul and my spirit. You feel me? Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, making sure to stay in complete harmony with all of that. Just because, and staying committed to that. Because you say commitment, that's an everyday thing.
Every day.
It's you gotta stay committed to it every single day, and making sure that I do everything I need to do, eating the right things every day. Discipline with that. Discipline with meditating every day. You feel me? Like I'm making sure to keep my mind, my body, my spirit, again, my soul, all in line. You feel me? And to be at my most optimal self, you have to make that commitment every single day. And so that's
you. That's you right
huge.
there.
That's an everyday thing, bro. That's me.
Yeah.
Like the way you describing it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Like I have no doubt in my mind about it. That's me. Every single day I'm working for it.
I love it, man. So the first one is commitment. The second one is confidence,
Yep.
right? The confidence that you have in your own abilities, confidence that you have in other people, right? Confidence, what is confidence? Confidence is the level of certainty that you have in someone or something. So if I have a low level of certainty, guess what, man? Like I ain't gonna be confident in it. But if I have a high level of confidence, I don't even think about it. I already know. Like you sat down in this chair. I sat down in this chair. I didn't say, well, let me see. I don't know if this chair is, like, no, I didn't even think about it. I sat down. You know what I'm saying? So how would you grade yourself on confidence?
And that was the biggest thing I tell anybody, man. And I had to learn and grow with that. Especially like came in high confidence in the league, but again, early on, I had to sit there and learn from these guys, and then dealing with that anxiety, dealing with that depression, you got in some really low points, and that's where that mental toughness came in. And at first, like that, when I was going through that confidence was shaky. There would be good days, there would be bad days, because I would be so in your head about the things. And then once again, I always say it's a blessing that I grew that toughness, mental toughness, because now I have the confidence that I can do anything. And again, I feel like, and I truly feel like, if something goes wrong on the field, it's just me. I take complete responsibility for me. I don't blame nobody else for anything. I don't blame my teammate. I don't blame the person I went against. I blame it on me. And I take that responsibility, and I have the confidence in myself enough to know that, all right, I'm gonna work at it, and I'm gonna get better, and I'm gonna win next time. And then that's really where I grew at over these years. And that's, again, going back, that's why I truly say, man, I'll never take any of that. Like, I'll never want to change anything that happened in my early years at the Patriots, because I grew into that person now that I am today, where I have the utmost confidence in myself.
That's dope, man. That's dope. So confidence, commitment, the last two are challenge and control. So challenge is, as we talked about, it's how you look at something. Do you look at it as a problem, or do you look at it as an opportunity to get better? That's challenge. And the last one is control. A lot of cats, they don't have control over their emotions, their feelings. People leave it up to luck, circumstance, chance. But you just said it like, nah, man, that's on me. I got this. And people who have a high, what we call internal locus of control, they typically are more mentally tough than other people. So how would you grade yourself on those last two?
Challenge, again, it just comes how I grew up. Like, I always take everything as a challenge. I always feel like I can step in any situation and win. And I put that on me. And I love that. It gets me excited. It gets me going. That's one thing that you look at, and I even tell young guys, man, you look at nerves. When people get super nervous about an event coming up and all that stuff, and they look at other people like, hey, you don't seem that nervous. No, I'm nervous too. Like, but at the end of the day, like, I'm gonna be real. Like, I ain't gonna ever front for nobody or be like, oh yeah, no, I'm nervous too. But I know that these nerves are excitement. Like, you channel that into excitement. You feel me? And those little butterflies are good. That's getting you going. That's just really getting you going. That's getting everything, the blood pumping and all that stuff. That's good. And that's all perspective. Again, like, it's all the perspective. You just like, if you flip your perspective, then it all is gonna work out for you, man. And you look at, okay, I'm feeling these nerves, man. This excitement, I'm about to get going. I'm about to go out there and make some things happen. You feel me? And then control, again, it's all about that control piece of it is all about staying present. It's all about staying in the moment. You feel me? And closing your mind off to what other people got to say, what these people opinions, or how many people are in the stadium, all these fans, or whatever the media is saying, or anything like that, man. You got to lock into yourself and be 100% locked into the moment that you in right now.
Yeah.
And you feel, I mean, you ask anybody that's been in a game and been in a zone before where it's like everything is just happening spontaneously and they feel great. And those are the games that you have when you're just so in the moment. Yeah. When you're just in the moment. If it's like nothing else matters, you're 100% locked into what you're doing at that moment. Yeah. And that's why I feel like it's true control. And you continue to work towards that every day. Again, by working on your mental, because it's all a mental part of it now. You're at the pinnacle, especially in the league, you're at the pinnacle, man. It's all about who mentality is going to stand out. It's all about how much can you lock into the moment. Yeah. How much can you really be in that present moment every single day.
Man, you're hitting on so many nuggets right now. You know, one of the things that you said earlier was, man, we're all big, fast, and strong up here. It's the mental part that's going to separate people, right? And, you know, one of the things, you know, I don't know, you know, me working in Major League Baseball, there's a huge movement right now with mental coaches, like you know, mental performance coaches, sports psychologists. They have them at the different levels, right? It's big time. Yeah. I would say more so in baseball than any other sport, but we're starting to see the mental performance game in other sports. And a lot of times, correct me if I'm wrong, but like in the NFL, a lot of times sports psychologists it's almost like, you know, what's wrong with this dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, go see the sports psychologist, you know what I mean? And not too many people are being proactive with it, as you're talking about, in terms of like, you know, visualization and all the different things that we're talking about. And so what I want you to share is how you use things like visualization, meditation, journaling, positive self-talk, as you've alluded to earlier, how you're being proactive, not reactive. Like you're being proactive to literally build up like your mind to a place where, nah, man, my mind is fortified, bro. Like you ain't getting in here.
Again, like I feel like your perspective creates your reality. And again, if you having that positive thoughts, if you continue to think positive, continue to believe that I'm gonna do this, then you're gonna do it. Like no matter what, you're gonna do it. Like I had the belief at 5 years old that I was gonna get to the NFL and take care of my mom's. And I wrote her my autograph at 5. And I was like, this is gonna be my autograph, and I'm gonna make sure I sign that contract, and then I'm gonna make sure to take care of you. And I kept that belief throughout everything, And there was times where, man, youth football, I wasn't the number one guy. Middle school, I wasn't the number one guy. Again, there was coaches talking about, oh, this guy's going to go to the league, oh, this guy's going to do that, he's going to do big things. The whole time in my mind, I was so confident in myself. I was like, nah, it's me. And that was just complete belief. You feel me? You got to continue to build that belief in yourself, even if you don't have that belief, even if you don't have that confidence. Working on your mental, continuing to write out, continue to journal, continue to meditate on, continue to visualize yourself at your highest possible outcome, at your highest possible self, what you truly desire. You feel me? It's just bound to happen then, because then if you believe it, once you become it, it's there. It's done. It's gonna happen. And so I truly feel like being proactive on it and continuing to work every day, whether I meditate in the morning, I meditate before I go to sleep. I journal before I go to sleep. You know, I'm visualizing different things that's happening in the game, you feel me, before I even step on the field. And so I use all of that I use all of that in my toolbox. It's in my toolbox. Yeah. And I truly feel like one thing that people should really continue to practice is imagination. Like your imagination really, I truly feel like that creates what you feel me, your reality. You look at everything around you, this TV, this microphone, this camera, you feel me? Somebody thought about it first.
Everything was a thought.
Everything was a thought
Everything
first.
that we see around us was a thought first before it was created.
And so you got to really use that imagination, really build that childlike imagination again. because that's what really, I mean, if you look at kids, like you was able to be in any situation, any circumstance, and to start imagining that you was in a rocket ship and you truly believed you was there.
And having fun too.
Yeah, and having fun. Like, I mean, me and my brother, one thing that I felt like even guided me even to the league to this day was me and my brother as kids, my granny had a big field in front of her crib, and she had this big field. And me and my brother would play imaginary football. We'll be on the same team, and we'll run routes, throw the ball to each other. If you drop the ball, that's 6 points for the other team. And then if you catch it, you run in until the other person say stop or you tackle, then you're down. And I can vividly remember, bro, just being out there on the field and running and imagining defenders, imagining guys playing, like, and imagine the clock, and it's 4th and 1, like we got to get this, like we got to make this play, and I would be so locked into it that we would lose games, like and I'd be mad. I'm walking back to the crib yelling at my brother, like, bro, like, why'd you drop that ball? Like, come on now, like, and it was so real. But like that I feel like your imagination is something that you can use to your advantage, because that just harden, like that continues to harden into your reality. And so I think that's one thing that I tell kids now is to continue to use your imagination to your advantage, continue to use your mental to your advantage, continue to believe in yourself, continue to have that positive self-talk, and know that no matter what anybody says, no matter what any of your circumstances is, you can do whatever you set your mind to. Like, really, there are people who came from nothing and became millionaires, billionaires. And it's all because of their mindset. You feel me? And I'm pretty sure there's people who, like you said, it's all about your perspective. I'm pretty sure there's people who had a brother that grew up in the same circumstance, situation. One became a millionaire, one became the complete opposite. You feel me? All because of the mentality was different, even though they grew up in the same situation. And so that's why I tell anybody, again, it's all your mindset, man. Like, it's all your belief. It's powerful.
Man, what you said, what you're saying right now is so powerful, and I think a lot of people, they'll hear the term imagination, but like, come on, man. What people don't understand is when you start looking at the human brain cannot distinguish between an imagined event and a real event. And so when you start looking at even visualization, right? This is not me saying this. This is research. This is science, right? The same regions in your brain that are lit up when you are doing a physical activity, if I'm shooting free throws, right? Is those areas, those cortical regions are lit up when I'm just thinking about it. That's why Michael Phelps was notorious for visualization. He would visualize swim matches every lap in his head. He would spend hours doing that.
Keep it on loop.
Steve Nash, 2-time MVP. Some people hated on him, whatever the case may be. When he got into the league, he'll tell you the story. His story's online. Like he was not that good. The fans were booing him. But Steve Nash started doing what? He started shooting 5 to 6 free throws every time he went to the free throw line. And anybody who plays hoop says, how's this dude shooting 5 to 6 free throws? If you go back and you look at tape of Steve Nash, what is he doing before the referee gives him the ball every time?
Right.
That's visual. This is visualization.
Watching it go in.
Watching it go in, that's visualization. When a batter gets on in the in a batter's circle and he's timing up swings before he goes into the batter's box, that's visualization.
And I think that the biggest thing too is using that, like you said, your brain can't comprehend what's real and what's not. Really using that and also seeing it and also feeling it, feeling the emotions, bringing up the emotions of that accomplishment, that feeling. You feel me? Of how the ball and the bat feel. You feel me? Once it connects, and it hits that sweet spot, or how the ball looks when it's going through the net. How that sound is. You feel me? And using every little sensory that's around that you have to your advantage. You feel me? And using that and really truly feeling that, and then. Again, it just happens, man, and I can't explain it any better, man. But like you got to use the vision, and then you have to use every other sense that you have. How does it feel? How does it, man? What does it taste like? Like, you feel me? Like everything. Like, you got to use all of that, And so once you use that to your advantage, man, there's nothing stopping you. There's sky not even the limit.
Yeah.
Man.
It's so what you just described is what we call the petlet model, and I'm not gonna get into it, but that's exactly what it is, man. Like the even everything from the visual, like the camera angles, to taste, sound, smell, feel, and when you engage all of those things, the brain has a way of self-organizing.
Yep.
If you give your brain a goal, an aim,
Yep.
if you give it an aim, what you're basically doing is giving it GPS.
Yep.
So many young athletes, they want, I want to go to the league. You've been there. You know what I'm saying? We've had teammates and everybody want to go to the league. Shoot, I wanted to go to the league. You know what I'm saying? But what happens is if you don't put in the coordinates, AKA your goals or your aim, and you start and you start doing the work to get there, your brain has nowhere to send it.
Yeah.
But when you can imagine things, and like you were saying, like vividly and in detail, now all of a sudden your brain says, you need to do this, don't do that, you need to do this, don't do that. Being mad as a little kid by losing those imaginary games.
Yeah.
Because it was so real.
It was so real.
This stuff is so deep, man. And even the Bible says, as a man thinks, so is he.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what God really guides you to. Because I even tell, like every time I tell my story of, I had over like 40 offers. I had every SEC school. I was committed to LSU, really. And they were like, "Why you chose Vandy? Like, why'd you?" And I always had it in my head. I'm leaving in 3. I'm going to the league. And I remember sitting down talking to Coach Mason, and he's starting to give me his recruiting. This is the last day of my officials, like my 3rd day there. I'm already ready to leave. I got the LSU official next week. I'm early enrolling. It's go time. I already knew I was going to LSU anyways. And so I'm like, oh, it's go time. It's over with. I'm leaving out. He calls me in for his meeting. I'm like, oh, he's going to give me his pitch. I had no intentions on going to Vandy. No intent. I love Vandy because it was a hometown team, but I had no intentions. And Coach starts talking. He's going on his spew. And I remember just completely like blacking out. Like he started talking, and that just faded out, and like there was just a huge voice in my head, like, go here, like this is for you, like this is the spot for you. You feel me? Be here, like you got to be here. And I stopped him in the middle of his speech. I was like, hey coach, I'm coming, like I'm committed. Wow. And he was going crazy, and then I'm talking to my coach, and he was like, my
you
trainer.
You had no intention of going there
my trainer
at all.
knew where I was going. Yeah, my trainer knew where I was going at that time. He was like, what's going on? Like, you feel me? Like, we got LSU next week. Like, you feel me? And so I think that once you really set those, like you said, you set that coordinates, you send that energy there, you turn on that GPS, God will send people in your life, you feel me, to help you get there. And God will give you the answers that you need through your intuition, like through your own intuition, that feeling in your stomach that I should go here instead of here.
That won't go away.
You feel me?
It's strong. It's
that's
intense.
strong and intent. Yeah. And
it's
so
specific.
And so that's why I truly feel like, man, it was a blessing how I grew up. You feel me? How I grew up. And I was blessed to have the mentality that I had ever since I was a kid. And everything I grew up and saw from since I was a kid to my journey in the NFL, I take none of it back because it made me the person I am today. And it made, like, I have this mindset that I have today. And I feel like no matter what happens to me, man, I can overcome anything. I can do anything that I want to do. You feel me? And I truly believe that. Like, no matter what anybody else thinks.
Yeah.
No matter what anybody whether you believe me or not, I truly just feel that way. And that's just me and my perspective in my life, and I stick to that.
I love it, man. I love it. Once again, we're here with JoeJuan Williams, NFL cornerback for the Minnesota Vikings. And, man, it's been great. You've blessed us with so many gems, man, and nuggets today.
Appreciate
and as
it.
we get ready to close, I want to give you the mic, man. And you got a room. You got a stadium. You're in a stadium. You got 10,000 people in this stadium that have all come to hear different speakers, and you're one of them. And you can tell them anything that you want in terms of encouraging them, building them up. Some of them may be going through a tough time, and here are all these speakers. But here comes JoeJuan Williams. What are you telling them, man? What are you telling the people today? What's in your head and heart today to encourage somebody that might be listening to this podcast today?
I truly feel that your imagination creates your reality. Like, God gave us that power, you feel me, to use every single day. Anything you want to do, you can do. You just got to put your mind to it and focus on it and continue to put that energy there without focusing on B, C, D, any other outside influence, negatives or anything. You feel me? If you truly believe it, then you are it. You feel me? And continue to, like what we talked about, continue to feel it every day. Not only see it, but feel it. Feel how it feels like to accomplish that goal. Feel how it feels like to do that technique. Use every sense that you got, you feel me? And once you really utilize that, you see miracles just happen. You see coincidences happen. You see things that happen in your life that got you to the point that you see up in your mind. Because again, your mind creates your reality, and that's your perception. Your perception is your reality, man. Mm-hmm. And that's truly what I believe in. And so, yeah.
I love it, man. I love it, man. Once again, JoeJuan Williams. This is Josiah Ghana for the All Things Performance Podcast, man. Bless you, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you, man.
Thank you for having me,
All right,
bro.
man. Yes, sir.
Real talk.
Yes, sir.
Real talk.